Good morning, friends. If you're listening to this today, you might be someone who hasn't paid much attention to your health for most of your life. Perhaps you're feeling worse than you'd like, and you're wondering what you can do about it. Maybe you're asking yourself, what kind of diet should I follow? What supplements should I take? What should I cut out of my life? I want you to know something important right from the start. It's never too late to reclaim your health. Your body comes equipped with natural defense systems that are more powerful than you might imagine. Think of your body like a beautiful home with multiple security systems. Some things strengthen these defenses, while others weaken them by turning off smoke detectors or leaving doors unlocked. Today, we'll learn what strengthens your natural shields and what might be quietly undermining them. Understanding your body's two types of fat. Let me start by explaining something that might surprise you. Not all fat in your body is the same. There are two very different types of fat, and understanding them can change how you think about your health entirely. The first type is white fat. This is the fat you can pinch under your skin, under your chin, on your arms, around your thighs. White fat can also hide deep inside your body cavity, wrapped around your organs. This visceral fat is the troublemaker we need to watch out for. The second type is brown fat, and this is your secret weapon. Brown fat doesn't jiggle like white fat. Instead, it's thin like a wafer and wraps around your neck, sits behind your breastbone, nestles between your shoulder blades, and appears around your belly. Here's the amazing part. Brown fat is metabolically active. It can actually burn harmful white fat through a process called thermogenesis. Think of it this way, you can use good fat to burn bad fat. Isn't that wonderful? Scientists discovered brown fat while studying hibernating animals. They kept finding a mysterious brown mass between the shoulder blades of creatures like ground squirrels. They called it the hibernating gland because they had no idea what it did. It wasn't until the 1932nd that researchers at UCLA discovered this brown mass was actually fat cells packed with mitochondria. These mitochondria are like the batteries of your cells, and they're rich in iron. When iron gets oxidized, it turns brown, just like nails left outside in the rain. During cold temperatures, brown fat fires up and keeps animals warm so they don't freeze to death. Activating your brown fat. Here's the exciting news. We humans can tap into this same system. We can actually activate our brown fat to help burn harmful visceral fat. One simple way is through cold exposure. Taking cold showers, sleeping in a cooler room, or spending time in cooler temperatures can wake up your brown fat. When those mitochondria start working, they burn energy from your white fat, especially the harmful visceral fat around your organs. But cold exposure isn't the only way. Certain foods can also activate your brown fat, and I want to tell you about one that might surprise you: coffee. The morning miracle. Coffee as medicine. Coffee is made from coffee beans, which contain powerful compounds called polyphenols, including chlorogenic acid. Chlorogenic acid does two remarkable things. It fights inflammation in your body, and it activates your brown fat. When you drink coffee, the chlorogenic acid tells your brown fat to fire up those mitochondria and start burning harmful white fat. The ideal amount appears to be about 3 to 4 cups of coffee per day, which can definitely help your good fat burn your bad fat. Let me tell you about research that amazed us in the laboratory. We took oats and extracted their bioactive compounds. We discovered that oats contain powerful substances called avenanthramides and beta-glucans. When we tested these compounds on wound healing, something extraordinary happened. We injected oat extracts into wound edges in laboratory studies, and the healing rate doubled. The wounds closed faster, but here's what shocked us. The healed wounds had no scars. When we examined the tissue under microscopes, we found that oat bioactives had completely suppressed inflammation, created more healing blood vessels, and recruited the body's own stem cells. The collagen in healed tissue was woven in a perfect pattern, like a beautiful oriental rug. When collagen is woven perfectly, there are no scars. We had never seen anything like this before. The power of simple morning choices. This brings me to a crucial point about simplicity. When I look at some of the healthiest people from the healthiest cultures around the world, they live quite simply. Take the Greeks, for example. Many start their morning with just a simple cup of coffee and maybe a piece of fruit. That's it. Perhaps a small cup of Greek yogurt with some crushed pistachios and chopped fruit, but not much. I've started doing the same thing, and I feel so much better when I'm not loading up on calories and additives first thing in the morning. I grew up like most people. It felt wonderful to have something big and creamy with whipped cream on top. But honestly, simplicity always makes me feel better. I start my day now with a cup of coffee. Coffee is one of what I call the three divine beverages: water, tea, and coffee. No matter what health condition you're looking at, whether it's cancer, diabetes, longevity, or overall fitness, coffee seems to be good for you. I was taught in medical school that coffee wasn't good for your heart, that it could cause irregular heartbeat. But the bioactive compounds in coffee contain significant amounts of polyphenols, like chlorogenic acid. These compounds do wonderful things for your metabolism, blood vessels, and reducing inflammation. They tip the odds in your favor toward longevity with just a simple cup of coffee in the morning. The Japanese secret: eating until you're 80% full. Now, let me share something important about portion control from one of the longest living populations in the world. The Japanese have a saying, hara hachibu, which means stop eating when you're 80% full. This isn't just cultural wisdom, it's backed by science. When we consistently eat until we're completely full, we put tremendous stress on our digestive system and metabolism. We create inflammation in our bodies, and that inflammation weakens our natural health defenses. Think about your body like a tube, like a thermos bottle. Inside that tube, you can fill all the spaces between your organs with fat. It's like when you ship something fragile, and you fill a box with packing peanuts. You could take a big box and put lots of peanuts in it, or a smaller box that fits snugly. The size doesn't really matter. You could be thin and still pack a lot of peanuts, which in this case is visceral fat. That's what we call skinny fat, when a thin person has too much visceral fat packed inside from consuming too many calories over time. The good news is that with proper eating habits, you can burn off all that excess fat. The natural way to intermittent fasting. Fasting has been around for thousands of years. If you look at some of the oldest religions in the world, fasting is part of their rituals. Now people ask, what about intermittent fasting? How long should I fast? There's no magic formula for fasting success, because we're all different. Our bodies are different. Our lifestyles are different. However, I'll give you an easy way to approach fasting because it's very natural for us. Just pay attention to what you do every day. When you sleep, you're not eating. When you're not eating, you're fasting. So guess what? You're already fasting every day. The longer you don't eat while sleeping, the more your metabolism can shift gears to burn any excess fat that has accumulated. I try to make everything as scientific, but practical as possible. If you really want to get into intermittent fasting, the easiest way is to take advantage of what you're already doing. If you're sleeping, try to sleep 8 hours a day. If you go to bed at 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m., you'll get 8 hours of sleep, ideal for your brain and metabolism. Extending your natural fast. Here's how to get more benefit from those 8 hours. The night before, when you finish dinner, let's say you eat from 7 to 8 p.m., when you finish dinner and put your dishes away, stop eating. Don't eat again until the next day. If you want dessert, have it with dinner, but don't take snacks and sit by the television afterward. Have one complete meal, then no eating before bed. Now you have 3 hours before going to bed at 11 p.m. During those 3 hours of not eating, your blood sugar will drop, your insulin will drop. Your metabolism will shift gears 3 hours earlier. Now you have 8 hours plus 3 hours, that's 11 hours. When you wake up in the morning at 7 a.m., don't do exactly what our mothers told us to do. If you're like me growing up, my mother would tell me to quickly eat breakfast when I woke up. I developed this instinct to wake up and eat as quickly as possible. What I do now, when I wake up, is intentionally not do what my mother told me. I wake up, I take time to get ready, get dressed, and I don't eat anything immediately. I might check outside, take a quick walk, check email, or read a few pages of a book. I wait at least 1 hour before eating anything. Now let's calculate. 8 hours of sleep, 3 hours after stopping dinner, plus 1 hour after waking up. That's 12 hours of fasting. If you really want to fast for 16 hours, just skip breakfast and eat lunch, as long as you don't overeat at lunch. This requires discipline, and after fasting, you shouldn't overeat or eat the wrong types of foods. That's how you do intermittent fasting in the most natural way possible. What weakens your natural defenses? Remember, your body is programmed with defensive shields. But what things lower your shields? What turns off the smoke detectors in your house? Excess sodium, too much salt, can do serious damage. You might find this in many restaurant meals. Have you ever been to the back of a restaurant kitchen to see how they salt their food? Patrons like salty food. It makes food taste very good. Our brains respond very well to salty food. But high sodium levels actually accelerate our cellular aging process, so we literally age faster. It also causes tremendous wear and tear on our health defense systems, especially our circulatory system and blood vessels. The magic of quality sleep. While you sleep deeply, your metabolism is also burning fat. You might think you're not exercising at night. You're right, you're not really exercising, but actually, your metabolism is burning fat. When you sleep, your insulin levels don't need to be high because you're not eating. Insulin levels drop, and your metabolism shifts gears. I give people this comparison. Your body is like a race car, a sports car like a Ferrari. During the day, you're in gear to drive and accelerate. At night, you shift into gear to really burn fat. You don't need to accumulate more fuel. Now you're burning fuel. So when you sleep, you're actually burning fat. But when you don't sleep well or long enough, you don't burn that fuel. That fuel accumulates. 1 or 2 days of insufficient sleep is okay. Think about jet lag when traveling overseas. Once you catch up, you'll feel better. But think about this day after day. People with chronic stress never sleep well. Add alcohol to the equation, and you can see how problems accumulate. Your brain becomes foggy. Your metabolism becomes unstable. You don't burn fat from the calories you ate during the day. Inflammation starts to increase in your body, and that inflammation weakens your health defenses, making you much more vulnerable. Learning from the longest living people. Let me tell you about the Japanese population, which consistently shows some of the longest living people in the world. First and foremost, before we talk about what they eat, let me tell you what they don't do. They don't overeat. Consuming too many calories is very harmful to our metabolism. It actually works against our ability to live long, accelerates our cellular aging process, and causes inflammation. So by cutting down on daily calorie intake, that's part of Japanese culture. The Japanese approach to food tends toward modesty, eating less rather than overeating. Understanding food processing. What really matters? I want to bring some clarity to the word processed, because there's sometimes confusion about what's processed versus ultra-processed. We rarely eat raw ingredients one by one. The exception might be a salad bar or fruit plate. Most foods we eat are cooked, processed, whether it's Chinese food, Indian food, Mexican food, Spanish food, Italian food. It's been prepared, and that means you're taking raw ingredients and doing something with them. You're processing them. Have you ever seen how they make pasta at home? Take flour, make a small hole like a volcano crater, crack eggs, then knead until it hardens and roll it out thin. Just like grandmother in Italy has been making pasta for thousands of years. Yes, that's processing. Minimal processing with fresh ingredients can technically be considered processing. But that's not what we're talking about when we discuss foods we should be more careful about. Ultra-processed foods are not foods you make at home. These are things manufactured in large factories where machines extrude ingredients and transform them into shapes like animal-shaped cookies. This wouldn't happen naturally in nature. Then they add many chemicals, emulsifiers, preservatives, artificial colors, artificial flavors, added sugars. All of this is clearly listed on ingredient labels but hidden in plain sight from consumers. Ultra-processed food is a choice many of us have been taught to reach for because of how we grew up. Something taken out of a box that tastes very good and sweet and isn't too expensive. It's all designed for convenience. The longer the shelf life, the better for consumers and grocery stores. It's cheap and readily available and designed to make you crave it. Your body's operating system. Never too late to reset. When we're born, we're all like brand new laptops taken out of the box, perfectly designed. You plug it into the wall. When you boot up, the operating system is supposed to work exactly the same way. There are some genetic differences, but lifestyle ultimately determines our fate, 80% or more. The good news is, it's never too late to really go back to your own operating system. That's why I tell people, if you're someone who hasn't really paid attention to your health for most of your life, and you feel bad, and you think it's time to acknowledge this, and you really want to change yourself, how do I do it? What kind of diet should I follow? What supplements should I take? What should I cut out of my life? What you have to realize is that all of us have an operating system inside us that can take back our health. Our metabolism knows how to really be healthy. We know how to reduce body fat. We know how to really regulate blood sugar. Most of us know how to keep our joints healthy. We know how to keep our brains healthy. That's really what comes right out of the factory. That's our operating system. Now, over the years, we mess up the operating system. It's like your laptop. You keep it too hot, you drop it, you download crazy things onto it, it gets viruses. You can keep your laptop in perfect condition, but if you're careless and drop it and do all those crazy things, don't clean it, at some point you're going to regret it. You'll say your laptop runs very slowly, you have viruses, your screen doesn't work well. What can you do? You feel overwhelmed. What I always tell people is, in your body, go back to basics, clean it up, go back to the operating system, and start from there. Practical steps for your health revival. So let me give you concrete steps you can take starting today. Morning routine. Start your day with a simple cup of coffee, black, or with a small amount of milk. Wait at least 1 hour after waking before eating anything. This naturally extends your overnight fast. Meal timing. Stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. This gives your metabolism time to shift into fat-burning mode before you sleep. Portion control. Practice the Japanese principle of hara-hachi-bu. Stop eating when you're 80% full. This prevents overeating and reduces inflammation. Food choices. Focus on minimally processed foods. Choose oats for breakfast. They contain powerful healing compounds. Reduce ultra-processed foods that come in packages with long ingredient lists. Sleep optimization. Aim for 8 hours of quality sleep in a cool room. This activates your brown fat and helps burn harmful visceral fat. Sodium reduction. Be mindful of salt intake, especially when eating out. Excess sodium accelerates aging and weakens your natural defenses. Cold exposure. Consider cooler showers or sleeping in a slightly cooler room to activate brown fat. The science of hope. Remember that remarkable study with oats I mentioned? When we examined how oat bioactives helped wounds heal without scarring, we discovered they recruited the body's own stem cells to the healing site. This tells us something profound. Your body has incredible healing potential that's just waiting to be activated. The same principles apply to your overall health. Your body wants to heal, wants to be strong, wants to defend itself against disease and aging. Sometimes, we just need to remove the obstacles and give it the right conditions. Think of yourself as the caretaker of a beautiful garden. For years, maybe you've let weeds grow and haven't provided proper water or nutrients. The garden looks neglected. But the soil is still good, the roots are still there. With proper care, removing weeds, providing good nutrition, ensuring proper conditions, that garden can bloom again, more beautiful than ever. Moving forward with confidence. As we conclude today's discussion, I want you to remember that small, consistent changes create powerful results over time. You don't need to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start with 1 or 2 changes, perhaps beginning your day with simple coffee and extending your natural fast by an hour. Your body's natural defense systems are remarkable. They've been protecting you all these years, even when you weren't paying attention. Now that you understand how to support them, you can tip the odds in favor of longevity, energy, and vitality. The path to better health isn't complicated or expensive. It's about returning to the basics, honoring your body's wisdom, and making choices that support rather than undermine your natural healing systems. Remember, every morning brings a new opportunity to care for yourself. Every meal is a chance to nourish rather than merely fill up. Every night's sleep is an opportunity for restoration and healing. You have the power to activate your body's natural defenses, burn harmful fat, reduce inflammation, and feel more energetic than you have in years. The choice is yours, and the time is now. Take it one day at a time, be patient with yourself, and trust in your body's remarkable ability to heal and thrive. Your future self will thank you for the loving care you begin today.